Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stepping Up with Stuch. I'm your host, Scotty Stuch. With me today is going to be my first in-studio guest for Stepping Up with Stuch. He's been a longtime friend of mine, motivator. We came up around the same time, always into fitness and lifting. That's pretty much what we had in similarities, and some other things along the lines which we're going to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my guest, Tom Smith. Tommy.
What's up, Scotty?
Hey,
thanks for having me, man.
No problem, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so Tom just got done with a workout now, and he's flying.
Oh yeah, those pre-workouts got me cranked out of my mind. I'm going. I killer banger squats, deadlifts, calves, quads. We did everything today. So me and my workout partner, we absolutely crushed it today. So it's awesome.
How many days a week you training now?
I do 4 days a week. I'm going for a personal record. Again, I missed my big deadlift at my powerlifting comp of 707. So I'm just gonna do it in gym, kind of PR kind of a thing. I'm gonna go for 700 in about probably about 6 weeks. I'm gonna go for that again. I'm gonna crush it.
Yeah, I can only imagine from your past. You know,
yeah.
I've seen you do some crazy stuff before.
Yeah, we had some crazy times at Anytime Fitness back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, Russ Rinaldi was there too.
What do they call them? The third shift?
Third shift misfits.
Yeah.
I think there's still a Facebook page out there about that.
Yep. But reason I had Tom come on today was, growing up, Tom really built himself up to where he's at today. One thing I always liked about Tom was he was always willing to extend his hand out and give a helping hand to others in need. Working out, somebody came up to him, they wanted to tweak their workout. He put his workout to the side and he'd help somebody out, and that leads into, opening up his supplement shop. Tom just doesn't have just a supplement shop. He's not one of those guys that's in it for the sales. He's in it to help people out, and I've seen him work hand in hand with client to client. I go in, it's in the same gym that we work out in, which is Danko's All-American Fitness in Plains, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, let's go.
And Tom's got, I'll go in there and we'll shoot the shit every once in a while, and Tom literally takes his time and works hand in hand, asking his clients, what are your goals? What are you looking to do? He just doesn't want to sell supplements just to sell them. He wants his customers, if they're spending the money, to seek the results they're looking for.
Absolutely. I think that's probably the biggest drive for me is I think that the fitness industry, the social media that's out there, everyone's out in it basically for themselves. And what's happening is it's taking away from the true heart value of making yourself feel better and surrounding yourself with winners and heroes that can lift you up. And we're getting a good group of guys that Dango's going where it's like that's what it's all about, is putting others first with all your workouts, with the supplements. If I'm in the middle of my workout and someone's asking me a supplement question or a sale needs to be made in the shop, I'll go open the shop up and make a sale, because that's more important to getting someone to their goals, because I have my own motivator. I can make it happen. So I'll just maybe do a rep or two just to catch up or whatever. So yeah, kind of creating that family environment for making people feel like family.
You're always you're a high energy, passionate person. You know, I know that's a passion of yours to see other people succeed. You're not a selfish person whatsoever. That's one thing I always liked about talking with you and stuff like that. And you know, we'll we'll get into the supplement line in a little bit. I want to start back to the earlier days. You know, we're gonna be posting some pictures in a little bit. You know, where Tom's journey began. You know, you grew up, you were a skinnier guy.
Yeah, I was really skinny. I think my lowest, I was probably, I don't know, maybe 20, maybe 21-ish, somewhere around there. I had a bad bike accident. I broke my hip and my jaw at the same time. Yeah, motorcycle on Scott Mountaintop. And that put me down with my jaw being wired shut and my hip being broken. That put me down to 165 pounds. And then through the course of life and getting married, you put on your marriage weight and all that kind of stuff. And now I got rid of that when my first, let's say this, when my first kid was born. I said to my wife, I said, I don't want a dad bod. Like that seems like the thing to do, is like when you get a kid, you get a dad bod. Well, I wasn't gonna have that. I want to stay active with my family and all that. So I said to my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna start lifting. I've always wanted to do it. I'm not gonna stop. And I went from basically at that point was 165. I got married, ended up being like around 205, maybe 210 or whatever. My kid was born, and then I started.
How many years ago was this about?
It was 11 years ago.
So in high school or nothing like that, you didn't touch weights or nothing like that?
So I goofed around like any normal kid would do. I had the creatine, the protein, but nothing regimented, nothing crazy. I barely even got a pump. You know, I didn't know what I was doing with bench. I maybe got 25 on each side goofing around or whatever, but I was always skinny. I'd run like crazy. I'd be able to run 7, 8, 9 miles, no problem.
Did you run track in high school?
No, because I was homeschooled, so we didn't do any organized sports. So my parents, they woke us up at like 6 o'clock and said, hey, get out there, you're doing your PT, you're doing your runs. And I used to run 3-4 miles every morning almost, and it was I think that's what set me up for like the anaerobic side of working out and everything. It was being able to push myself mentally, and I used to love running. I still do, except it's really heavy now and it hurts.
Yeah, it gets harder as you put weight on. It's like running with backpacks full of weights.
Yeah.
I just started running again now that the tracks are open because I hate treadmills, and I'm starting to do my boxing again and stuff like that. And
yo, bro, I saw the video of you doing the boxing. That was pretty sweet. You got the breathing down and everything. But you were fast.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to meet you in a dark alley somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't did it in like 7 years. I mean, I started boxing when I was like in hockey. I was like I was more of an enforcer than I was a skill player, and I started boxing, and I actually created my own cardio to learn better balance for hockey fighting. Yeah. I would actually put rollerblades on and hit a heavy bag.
Wow.
So I knew how to hit and stay on my feet.
Right, yeah.
But I don't think anybody's ever came up with that technique. Maybe they did. I've never seen it. But I used to go down my basement and put rollerblades on and hit the heavy bag with rollerblades on like I was fighting on ice.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy.
But then I started training with
now, see, wait a minute. That's what I like about you and I, because like you both have to have a mindset to find the weaknesses in different areas and push yourself better to make yourself better than everybody else. And that's really cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's I was really into the lifting, and then I started filling voids with mental health. I started filling that with, consumption of alcohol and stuff like that. And I got a little off track there, and it was a certain point in my life that I'll never forget, and it got me to where I'm here today. Not to make it an addiction base, but there was a point in time where it wasn't even just about the addiction. I was in such debt because I took chances early on when I was younger, made poor decisions financially and stuff. When I wanted to get my life back on track, it literally was like there was points I was working 3 jobs just to like pay the bills and have a little bit left at the end of the week. And, I didn't want my kid or my fiance to suffer. So I went out and I did what I had to do to, give them the best life I can. And it came with a price. Like, I lacked hobbies. I stopped lifting because I'm working 7 days a week, 3 jobs. I mean, it's tough.
There's no time for that.
No, I tried, and it just wasn't. And then, I was getting, down and out and depressed. So the only thing I did on my free time was drink and drown my sorrows. And, that's where I believe that that's why I'm creating this channel, because, like, you can't have self-pity for yourself because of the poor decisions you made in the past. I had a lot of self-pity for myself. I felt sorry for myself. I got depressed about it, and I finally I just kept moving forward. There was this little light at the end of the tunnel, and I figured, debt can go away eventually.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, this life's not going to last forever. I'm eventually going to keep bettering myself. I'm going to figure out ways how to turn 3 jobs into only working 2, 2 only to 1, and eventually I'll get back on my feet. And that's where I'm at today. I work 1 job. I got myself back on my feet. It took 5 years, and I work out, and, I do the podcast on the side, and I enjoy life a lot more. But it came with a lot of sacrifice. It came with a lot of patience. In addiction, people want, and you probably see this every day with the supplement shop, people want to just walk in the gym and they want instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of, I've been, when I've been in good shape before, I go up and down all the time because, when I'm all in, I'm all in. When I'm all out, I'm all out. And it's usually around the winter time I put on some extra weight, and then spring, summer, and fall I grind.
That's every American that's out there. That's how everybody does. Everybody lives that way.
And I just, a lot of the guys that we know, I'm sure you've been accused of it before because of the way your physique is and stuff. I mean, I've never taken steroids before, but I've taken a lot of supplements that is sold over the counter. Some may be illegal now. Yeah. But I've
done steroids in the past. I'm not going to coward out of that. I've definitely done in the past. Matter of fact, so I'm 37 now. So 11 years ago puts me at, 26, right? So, I started 25, 26, somewhere in that area, about really trying to be regimented. So I kind of felt to myself that I'm late to the game. So I jumped on all the juice in the world. I didn't care. I'm just gonna full send it, and I don't care what it was.
Yeah.
And I got on it, and I blew up to almost 270 pounds, bro, at 6'1". That's a lot of weight to carry around. But I did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to stack anything. I didn't know how to correctly program my workouts to fit the steroids I was taking. And I'll say this too, there's a difference between steroids and there's TRT, because TRT is what every male should basically be on after they hit 30. They should get their levels checked.
Peptides?
No, that's just putting your levels at normal hormonal level, because after 30, your hormones start dropping.
Well, there's so many people that we know, not to cut you off, but there's so many people I know I've been talking to more and more that are in our age range, late 30s, early 40s. You can literally go to your doctors right now, and you can tell them, I just feel, I'm light on, you know what I mean? And they'll actually give you, the stuff to take home.
So that's what I'm on now. And I tell you what, guys, for any people that are out there listening about steroids versus TRT, I've taken steroids, right? And I've stacked it. I've even taken tren. But the best I'm feeling right now is being on TRT. And that's being watched by a doctor. My levels are checked. Everything's checked 100% by the doctor. Everything's legit.
Well, the number one sign of low testosterone levels is fatigue.
Yeah.
If you're going to be fatigued, you're going to be going through the motions, and, it's just...
trust me, there's some workouts, though. I'm fatigued. I don't want to do my workouts, but, it's a pain in the butt sometimes.
And when I made that comment earlier, I wasn't being judgmental by any means, by anybody that ever did it. I mean, I've thought about it before. I just never got into it. But, I've taken 1AD. I've taken, edible stuff before, but that's the safer route is injectable. And I mean, I'm not sitting here condoning telling people, because everybody's like, this is motivational. Right. Whatever you got to do, you got to do. I mean, let's face facts. I mean, the only reason some of the TRT stuff's illegal is because the government can't find a way to regulate it.
Yeah,
it's
just like the pre-workouts. They take the pre-workouts off the market because they have dimethyl in it, and that's one of the most craziest things that are out there for you.
Well, the original Jack 3D pre-workout, I think,
we don't know what was in that one. That was insane. That was on another level.
They said people were pissing hot for meth when they were going for people guys working in factories that were weightlifters. Oh, yeah. They were taking Jack 3D maybe to work out before they went to the thing, and they would get your random urine test, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're hot for meth." And they're like,
well, it's a different strand than actual meth itself, but dimethylazone is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's that. But yeah, I don't condone to doing steroids either, but what I'm doing is going all through a doctor and all that kind of stuff. And I respect anybody that knows what they're doing when it comes to that thing, if that's really what your goals are in life.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, weightlifting just always was. I started when I was 15 years old down the old Dankos when it was in the shopping center.
Yeah.
And you always want, I don't know, my mindset was I always want to get I want to be, whoever was in better shape than me, I wanted to get to their level, and then when you get to that level, you want to keep going. Now I kind of just do it to stay in shape.
Right.
I want to be more, and this is something I want to get into with you right now, is, people don't understand how much the internal health is that's just like appearance on the outside, the external health. Yeah. I had some issues with like acid reflux and some digestive issues and stuff like that. You know, and I think a lot of it had to do with my addiction days. Sure. And our good friend Dan, who owns Level Red, Dan Januzzi.
Okay. Yeah.
Dan got me, who used to be a VP of sales at GNC. Yeah. He got me. He was telling me, he's like, listen, he's like, your body is, your pH is probably way off. You should check your pH. And you could literally get those test strips at the pool stores and like spit on them.
Really?
And you can check your pH. You spit on them.
Oh, that's gnarly.
And I started drinking this stuff in the morning. It's called blue-green algae. It's called spirulina. I don't know if you ever heard of it before. And I'll tell you, anybody that's out there listening, grab yourself that's like in your 20s, 30s. If you're a weekend warrior or you eat your known to eat junk food and stuff like that, you will feel so much better digestive-wise and internally. You start drinking this blue-green algae. You can mix it with Greek yogurt. I used to mix it in a smoothie in the morning, and there's internal health supplements that are just as important as external ones, I believe.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like about going to this doctor that I go to. I'll throw the tag in there, Dr. Kepko, Red Rose Rejuvenescence, and he looks over all my levels, and like he has me taking like 4 fish oil a day, and he like goes through every single item. Like I just got my blood work done last week. Matter of fact, I'm still bruised up. I got it done Saturday, and when I handed the script of like the blood work, she was like, "What is this?" And it was like a Santa Claus list of like all the stuff that gets taken. I think that like you just said, like your internal organs are so important to you because not only is it important for the outside to look good, but it's important for the inside to look good as well. And then even to go a step further on the inside is that mentality of life. Is that like a lot of people need that positive reinforcement. They need that motivation, and a lot of people don't have that drive. And I'm just kind of curious, where do you find your drive and your motivation in life? Like, what is your why? I think everybody has a why for anything that they do in their life. What would be your why?
I just think I enjoy helping people, just like yourself.
Yeah.
I enjoy because I was such a when I was back those days when I was working those 3 jobs and not being able to do any hobbies, not being able to spend time with my family. I was a miserable son of a bitch to be around. I was negative. I hated life. Yeah. I just felt like I had no purpose. I felt like it was going to never end. Yeah. And I just kept waking up every day, and I started channeling my anxiety that I still battle with today. I just channel it as energy. Yeah. And if I'm not working, I'm at the gym. If I'm not at the gym, I'm doing something constructive around my house, spend time with my family, doing this podcast. Yeah. I always keep myself moving. I'm like, as sick as it sounds, like at 38 years old, I'm even considering going back to college. Like,
let's go.
Why not? I just like to keep setting the bar for myself because I don't believe in that. Like some people, I believe that some people, and this is why I switched the name to Steppin' Up rather than Sober Sit Down, because not all my stuff I want is going to be addiction related. There could be people that just didn't really apply themselves and kind of were goofballs when they were younger and created a family, and at 30 years old they're in this factory job, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging anybody, but you're in a factory job, they're making minimal income, they're feeling unfulfilled, not doing what they really want to be doing. Right. And sometimes you just need that motivational kick in the ass from somebody to hear if they did it, I can do it. Yeah. Like, as you know, I mean, I don't know what you did in your earlier years. If you want to explain the story, what made you go out and get your CDL? But as you know, I went and got my CDL in my mid-30s. Yeah. And I was in restaurant industry before that for forever. Yeah. So I never thought I'd get a CDL, and I don't use it right now, but I may eventually. Yeah. I might use it again.
No, mine was actually really simple because my dad was a truck driver for a long time. Let's just say that much. And he never really wanted us to become, all of us boys, to be truck drivers because I have 2 other brothers. And now I'm a truck driver. My brother's a truck driver, and my brother Steven, he's a wannabe truck driver. No, with UPS, he's a parcel driver. So he makes more money than all of us. Yeah. He makes more money than all of us.
They make good money up at UPS.
Yeah. So
their pension's incredible.
Yeah.
Teamsters.
So that's what Sam is now. He's a Teamster too with my dad. So I'm the only scab that's out there. But no, I went through college. Well, I went through Bible college, so I have a bachelor's degree in Bible theology. And then
locally, did you do that?
No, it was correspondence.
Okay.
Through a place in Florida, and then I came out of that, and I just started doing like the warehouse jobs and all that kind of stuff. And I was blessed by a friend of mine who came out and said, he's like, "Hey, I'd like to bless you with some way of like helping jumpstart your career. I have a check for you and I'm going to write out a check for however much you need to do whatever you want." And I kind of thought about it, and I was like, well, at that time I was at an anthracite plant moving coal with heavy equipment, and I was like, well, maybe I'll do heavy equipment operating, but you need a CDL for that. So I was like, well, why don't I get a CDL? So I went out, I got my CDL, and then kind of got stuck in this rut because if you get a CDL, you can't just go out and get a job unless you go over the road. And I didn't want to go over the road. So I kind of held on to my CDL for a little bit, and then I through, I think, just baby steps and stepping stones in my life, I was able to get into Old Dominion, and I've been there ever since.
You're a trainer now.
Oh, right? Yeah, I'm a CDL trainer. Yeah, so I've given a couple CDLs to a couple guys already, and they're drivers out there, and it's cool to see. And that's another thing though. Like every aspect, I think that is in your life and in my life, you're always looking for opportunities to help and better people. You know, never be complacent with just being self-satisfying and like it's just me in this little world making it go around and around. I think that you get the bigger picture of like this world takes multiple people to get the world moving. And if you can keep the world moving by motivating people to move, then the world will be a better place because more people will be moving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's a lot of that going around. I just believe that we're in such a state right now I'm not pro-Republican, I'm not pro-Democrat. I don't want to get this into a political debate with anybody in the comments below and shit. But the thing is like people could say all they want, but we live in a very nasty, negative time right now.
Oh, yeah.
People are negative. And they want to say that things are going good, but they're not. I mean, who wants to go to the grocery store and get 3 items and spend $50? I mean, you support a family, I support a family.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, and you're working a full-time job, you're running a business on the side. I mean, and that's what I like is like, you saved up all your money and, you still provided for your family, but then you still fulfilled your dream because you probably made sacrifices. You cut things out of your budget. You did what you had to do to get where you got to be today.
Yeah, and there's times I'm sitting in my shop and there's no customers in there and I'm like, well, is this really worth my time? But then I get that one customer to come in and they want to know knowledge. And that's why we're all here is to help everybody to fulfill that knowledge learning. And
I'm sure, not to cut you off, but in similarity of me with the car sales, I'm sure there's so many times because people are on a tight budget right now and supplements cost money. I'm sure there's many times that one customer may come in and they ask you a bunch of questions. You write them up like price quotes for, a stack or something. They say, hey, I'll be back. And you hope that you make that lasting impression on them so when they are ready and they're financially ready, they come back and buy from you.
Sure.
There's probably many times that people don't buy their first time coming into your shop.
Dude, that's funny. So I'll capitalize on that a little bit. And it's funny that there are times that I'll have people come into my shop and they will walk out and not buy a single thing. And I'm 100% fine with that. I have a table set up in my shop where you can come in and you can sit down. You can have a full blown-out conversation with me on nutrition. Not that I'm a nutritionist. On training. I'm a certified trainer now. I don't know if you do that or not, but so I can write programs for people and stuff. And I have the supplement shop, so like I want to inform people on like how to live better. And one of the things that I tell people is like you get these spring people that come in, these spring chickens that come in, and they're like, hey, what supplement can I take to get point A to point B as fast as I possibly can? I was like, if you're looking for a supplement that's going to go from point A to point B real fast, you might as well just walk out of my shop because there's nothing here that will fix that except your own motivation and time and energy put into it over time. So if you have this new spring chicken that comes into the shop and they're like, hey, what do you got for me? I'm like, I want from you 2 weeks of dedicated work in the gym. And then when you come back to me, we'll find out your weaknesses then because you aren't going to have any supplements in your body. If I have people come in, you're like, well, all I take is coffee for a pre-workout. All right, well, stick with the coffee then. Like, I'm not here to push supplements on you to make you a caffeine addict. Like, if your coffee's working, take the coffee.
Well, the big misconception with supplements is people think they're miracle drugs, and they think it's gonna, it will go. If you're an advocate, if you're consistent at working out, you're monitoring your diet because I don't care what anybody says. I mean, genetics, no genetics, dieting is
essential.
Is huge. I
essential.
mean, for the people that can't put on weight, you're not eating enough, and the people that put on weight too fast, you're not monitoring your calorie intake and your protein versus all that. So, I mean, I feel as though that, like, 80% of your gains comes from your diet. Whether you want to, like, somebody like yourself that's taller, you came from being skinny, you have to eat more, but you have to eat more of the right foods.
Yeah. When we were working out back at Anytime, Rich Piano was huge in the social media back then. 5% nutrition. Matter of fact, I have a shaker here for my water. And he was the one that kept saying, if you're not growing, you're not eating. And And I love it when kids come up to me these days. Bro, these kids come up to me, they're high schoolers and everything. And God bless their souls because they're trying to gain all this weight for football and everything. And they're like, oh, well, I'm already eating 3 meals a day. I'm like, well, why aren't you eating 4 meals a day? Well, I do that too. I'm like, well, why aren't you eating 5 meals? And now some people come in, I'm eating 6 meals a day, bro. I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, you're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and putting food down your hole. Well, no. I'm like, well, then you're not eating enough. And they're like, oh, I guess so. They wobble out of my shop. You know what I mean? So,
I literally do that still to this day. Like, that's the old trick. Like, you got to keep... They don't understand, like, when you're bodybuilding and stuff like that, like, last night, I woke up in the middle of the night, I was freaking starving. And some people are like, you know, everybody believes in that fasting stuff, but your body needs to be fueled. I mean, how are you going to run an engine if it doesn't have gas in it? So, I mean, like, last night, I woke up in the middle of the night, I literally cut up a Granny Smith apple and ate it. I mean, it filled me. It made me go back to bed, and that was it. It was 2 in the morning.
Dude, I'm a peanut butter hog. I'll have 4 or 5 tablespoons of peanut butter and a glass of milk, and I'm out like a light.
Yeah,
gone.
Well, that's the milk is casein protein. I mean, casein protein is a slow digesting protein. That's the best thing you can drink before bed. Is, you know, even if it's just whey protein mixed with milk, you're gonna sleep for 6 to 8 hours. That's what you're supposed to, at least.
Right. Yeah.
And
I never get that.
No, not a truck driving.
Nope.
But, you know, that's 6 to 8 hours of, you know, it's slowly digesting through your body, where whey protein is something you want to drink right after your workout because it goes right in your system and it fulfills the muscles. And, you know, that's... People don't understand all that chemistry behind it. Like, missing meals after you work out, and I'll eat when I get time.
Yeah.
One thing I can't do anymore is I can't eat like I used to, where I'd eat the egg whites and, you know, turkey bacon and then try and go work out. Like, if I work out in the morning, I cannot eat before my workout. But it's good.
No,
because
I'm the same exact way. I can't. Matter of fact, I train my best on a fasted, I don't know, a fasted stomach, or I don't know what you want to say it. So it was, I did my first powerlifting comp back in March, and that was one of my hardest things to do, was learn how to eat in between my lifts to keep my calories going and keep my everything going. So that was a challenge for me, because I like to, like, I haven't eaten, what's right now, about 7:30, quarter to 8 right now, and I have not eaten since 1 o'clock. That was my last meal. And I'm definitely in a deficit, like, all the time.
I like to challenge myself by, like, I see like a lot of these people on Instagram now and stuff like that, which I think is really cool, is creative ways to eat healthy. Like, making stuff, like, I've seen people make, they've made pizzas out of chicken breast crust. Like, they made the crust out of chicken rather than gluten. And that's one thing that I've noticed as I got older. I think I got tested for celiac back in summertime. I'm having a hard time with, like, digesting, like, you know, like pizza, anything like that. Like, I mean, it's bad for you, but who doesn't like a cheat meal every once in a while? You know?
People will get mad at me because, like, I eat cheat meals all the time. I will say most of my diet is homemade cooking, but for the most part, like, I have pizza whenever. Like, I'm not a diet guru by any means.
But you work your ass off at the gym.
Oh,
you can't go in there and half-ass it and think that pizza's not going to gain weight on you. I mean, now, like, they have the cauliflower crust pizza, which is excellent, I think.
Oh, really?
But I get severely, if I eat too much starchy carbs, within days, like, I start getting swollen around my midsection and my face. I definitely, I have a sensitivity. Like, it'll look like I'm on D-ball.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
let's go. Let's do more.
Yeah. But it's like, it's literally like, it swells. It literally, like, and I've learned that because now I started doing more of, I don't want to say keto. I've been doing more like just meats, cheese, fruits, vegetables, staying away from the breads, the pastas, and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been noticing, like, just not even doing cardio the past couple of days, I just feel incredible. Yeah. Like, if I'm hungry, I'll eat fruit.
You look incredible too, by the way.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And you know, I want to stay, like, you know, I'm at 220 now. I want to get down to about 210, 205 for the summertime, and I don't want to lose all my size, but I'm only 5'9.5", so, like, I don't want to be too big.
That's good. That's good weight though. That's a good weight. I'm 6'1", and I'm like 245, so you're not too far from my weight.
Yeah, and you know, you know, it's all about, like, you know, setting those personal goals for yourself. It's what you want, you know, and that's what, like, the whole addiction thing with me was. You know, I went to a couple meetings in the beginning, you know, and I gathered a couple people's numbers, because when you go into the rooms of AA, you're gonna realize real fast it's just like going to jail. It's like there's people that want to be there and actually want to help themselves, and there's people that are there that are forced to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like somebody might have just screwed up for like one of the last strikes, and they're like, all right, well, I'm pending trial, so now I'm gonna make myself. Then they're leaving there and going to get high or getting drunk. Like, you know, and they can't control that because it's a non-judgment zone. But also, I noticed a lot of people, they always say, like, you know, the KISS method, keep it stupid simple.
Oh, right.
And I don't like life simple. I like challenges. I like setting the bar higher.
Sure.
Every time I hit a goal, I want to hit another one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't disrespect AA. I don't if that works for you, that works for you.
Yeah.
My thing is like I use other things to motivate myself, and I just do my own thing. Yeah. And I'll celebrate 4 years of sobriety next month.
Congrats, bro.
And thank you, man.
Congrats.
And you know, it's just like you got to do what works for you. You got to want it. Like, it's just with any goal, like fitness, anything. You got to want it in order to get it, and it's going to take sacrifices. I mean, going back to Rich Piana, there's that famous Instagram thing they keep putting out where he's eating like these burnt egg whites, and he's like, tastes like shit.
Yeah.
And it, like, if you eat like that every day, I mean, it's the old golden rule. If it tastes good, it's probably not good for you.
Absolutely, I say that all the time.
I mean, you eat bland food, like, you know, your chicken. I mean,
bro, I had 3 chicken and rice meals today.
Yeah,
no seasoning or nothing on them. Like, I just and actually, what's even hard too is being on the road as a truck driver, a local truck driver, that is. Like, there's times I can't eat my food up. You know how hard it is eating cold rice? That's tough.
Dude, when I was over the road, you should have seen me. I was like Stallone and over the top.
Let's go, you're over there doing the...
Yeah, people are sleeping in the back of their trucks. I'm trying to do pull-ups on the back of the thing. I actually strategized it because, like, when I was over the road for 6 months back in 2001, I'm like, I see like these nasty truck stops with like these weirdos going into the shower and stuff, and I'm like, to hell with this. And I'm like, so now like I'm thinking, and I'm like, all right, well, if I get a Planet Fitness membership, it's not going to be the greatest workout, but at least I'll be doing something.
Hey, you know, a lot of truck drivers do that, though. Anytime Fitness, Crunch, where they have all this memberships, like all over the country or whatever, and then they'll plan their routes according to their gyms. That's awesome.
And that's what I was doing. And because you figure 9 times out of 10 they're going to be in a shopping center, so there's your parking for the night.
Yep.
They have usually clean shower facilities.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a workout in, and, you know, usually there's somewhere within walking distance you can grab a meal or something if you don't have, you know, stuff in your truck, like usually a grocery store, like a Walmart or something like that nearby. But yeah, man, I tried doing that, but you know, when you start running for like a non-big company, like I was kind of running for just me and another guy. He had one truck. I was kind of on my own. You kind of bend the rules a little bit. So
of course.
You know, I was, instead of driving 14 hours, or some days I drove 18 hours, and I pull in a Planet Fitness parking lot, I'd be like, I am not lifting right now. I'm not lifting right now.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, it was a journey, but I mean, it made me who I am today, you know?
Yeah. Well, for sure. And I think that's the drive, the innate nature that you have. And for people that have the motivation, I need to listen to motivational movies sometimes. Like, I get on YouTube, I have my go-to videos that motivate me out of my mind, and we need that little fuel up once in a while. It's not like we just keep on going and going and going. But it's tough getting up in the morning and, you know, doing about 10 hours at work. Then you go do about an hour and a half in the gym. Then you're running your shop, going to church, taking care of your kids. And on the weekends, you got all kinds of stuff going on. Like, it's tough, like, to constantly keep going and going and going.
Life starts moving.
Yo, bro, I never thought I'd sit here and be like, I remember being in the gym and having these guys that are my age, and they were telling me how to work out. And now here I am, their age, telling the younger kids how to work out. And I'm like, oh, where'd this time go? And like,
I felt like my 20s were never going to end. And then all of a sudden I woke up one day and I'm 38.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause I'm 37, so like we're right there. And it's, I don't know. I think the hardest point is like trying to slow down and really like soak in every moment that you got. Like it sucks sometimes having to walk around and take pictures all the time of your kids and everything. But like we're blessed to have the social media, like the cameras and everything that we have now, where you can just take glimpses and photos all the time of your kids and have that. Like, I want to be that old guy just like staring at videos and pictures when I get older of my kids.
that's what, like, that's the whole thing is, like, I just wish that being that I'm a father, you're a father, I just wish, like, it seems like the kids just grow up so fast, and it's like it's tough to like come to realization. I mean, I've seen people posting, like, I'm not the only one that feels like that either, because I've seen people posting on like Instagram, like this guy was posting a video the other day, and I was like, actually, I got like a tear in my eye watching it. This guy was like chasing this little girl around. She was like 3 years old, and like the scene went behind the wall, and all of a sudden
I think I saw that one.
He's hugging like this 10-year-old little girl, and I was like, it's like don't like kind of like that song "Don't Blink" or whatever, and it's like holy shit, like that's for real.
Yeah, there's times I'll just sit there and like stare at my kids, but I think that is the quality of life though that a lot of people need in their life is just this like really stop and smell the roses, like as people will say it, like in this technological kind of word is that technological world that we live in, it's so hard to just stop and slow down. Like I enjoy times I take the kids fishing down the river, or one of the big things our kids do, we do is we go for walks as a family. We'll do like 2-3 miles sometimes. I'll let the kids get on scooters or some kind of wheels, and we'll go for a walk. So it keeps, if they're on wheels, that means I got to walk faster. That's the objective behind it. But they thrive on that. They live for that. And I think I honor anybody that wants to put family first and constantly like be with their kids and stand for what is right and true. It's an honorable thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean in that respect. I mean keeping it simple by going to work every day, not having to do something crazy or chaotic every weekend. Like my kid's into playing sports now, and I always enjoy whatever games I could make because I got kind of a broken up schedule now. But I make as much as I can, and just trying to use your imagination and whatever time you do have off. I learned over the years, like it's not like there's some people that I know that set themselves up perfectly where they're home every day by dinner time and they get their whole weekends off. And you know what? I think a lot of people take that time for granted where when you start learning, like you only have so much time because of the set days you have off and stuff like that, you make that time more quality and rather than just going through the motions and just, I mean, sometimes, you need a break every once in a while and you just got to lay low and just kind of relax.
Yeah.
But other times, you try being creative. Like you said, take your kids on like a nature walk or create memories.
Oh yeah. Well, and my wife yells at me for that. She's like, "Why is it every time you're with the kids you got to make a memory?" Because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make memories. I'm here. I want to make the best of the time I have here on Earth as possible. I think that everyone has been given special abilities through God Himself, and like has given you abilities to do certain things, and given me certain abilities to do things. And if we don't do them, then we're slacking off, and we need to step up our game.
Well, that's I drive her nuts too. Like with when we're going somewhere and we're somewhere and like I'm trying to get as much out of the day as possible and they're just trying to enjoy like what's in front of them and I'm like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. And like I'm just trying to make the best of like the day. Yeah. And I want to fulfill as much as I can in that amount of time. But I drive her nuts with that.
I know. I went down and bought a new car. Not new, a used car down in Jersey. And while we were there, we're like, hey, do you know what? Let's go see the Statue of Liberty. And we went and got tickets, and bro, it was like the most, like one of the highlights of my times with my kids, because I just, the time sitting on the boats and just sitting back and relaxing. It was a beautiful day. Kids were great. We got everything done we wanted to get done, and it was just that capturing that moment that was just, that's peace. Like when you're doing what you should be doing and that's where you should be at in your life, that is where it matters and where it counts.
Yeah, my sponsor used to tell me, he'd say, like, when I'd start getting ahead of myself like that, I'd be like, I'd start looking down the hole, like, too far. I'd be like, look, I'm like, well, what about when this happens? What about when that happens? He goes, Scott, look at your 2 feet. And I'd look down, and he's like, you're exactly where you should be right now.
Yeah, that's solid information right there.
Yeah, and it's like, like, even, like, with the gym and stuff, like, sometimes I actually, when my schedule started lightening up a little bit, when I, got off the road from being a truck driver off the road, I started working local jobs. I had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
I actually, like, felt guilty going to the gym at one point, and I started, like, mapping my days out. Like, I'll talk to people at, like, nighttime. They'll call me, like, I network with people from New York, Florida, everywhere.
Sure.
And they'll be like, oh, Scott, where are you going? The gym? And it's, like, 9:30 at night. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And they're like, why do you go so late? I go, because I won't go till my daughter goes to bed.
Right.
Because if I go right after dinner, I feel as though that I'm cutting her short of, even though it's only an hour, I'd rather go there tired and work out knowing that I'm not missing time with her.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's a tough struggle. Matter of fact, that's probably one of the hardest things with like owning the business, is like, again, sitting there in the shop when there's nobody in there, and like just knowing that like there's a bigger purpose, there's a bigger thing that's going on than just me sitting in the shop. And I'm here to help people and here to motivate people and here to like just help people drive to be the best they can be. And really, I think the coolest things is like when someone comes to me and they give me excuses. Like I'm like, yo, bro, lay on the excuses to me because I'm gonna tear you apart.
See that hashtag next to you on the top left? No excuses.
No excuses. That's right. I love it.
That's just it. Like, I am so sick.
Well, remember Louis Speck came up with the no excuses thing like all the time. He used to be like, no excuses all the time.
If you look at, like, that's where you have to, I think where people lack right now is they lack accountability for themselves.
Oh, sure.
And, you know, they always blame, like people say, like, I said this in a recent podcast, the biggest thing that gets me is they'll go, oh, yeah, it must be nice you can afford a gym pass or a gym membership. And I'm like, what? I'm like, a Planet Fitness membership's like $20.
Not
like,
even. It's $10, isn't it? Or something like that.
Something like that. But these are the same people, like, even if you are on that tight of a budget, you can't fit that extra $5 a week and get yourself a Planet Fitness. Because there is some people out there
these people are going
living paycheck to paycheck.
No, these people are going to Dunkin' Donuts and buying a $3 coffee every morning. Exactly. When they could be going to spending $10 on a month in the gym.
A large pizza and a Stromboli's $40.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting that on Friday night. But
right.
Kidding aside, with all that, what does it cost you to go jog around your neighborhood or before bed every night, get down and do push-ups until you can't do them no more?
Yep.
Or, you know, lay on your back and do some sit-ups. Like, that's all shit you can do in your house.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. What about what you're ingesting daily? What are you eating? Are you like, you eating junk food all day? Like, there should be no excuses. That people, like, I worked in the prison system. I was a prison guard, as you know. I was a county prison guard. I was a state prison guard. Wasn't for me. I just, you know, these guys don't have weights. Yeah. And they're coming out jacked because they're doing calisthenics.
They're finding a way.
They're doing jumping jacks in their cell. They're doing push-ups. They're doing sit-ups. They're doing pull-ups. Like, you don't need a gym membership to get in shape.
Right.
I think Herschel Walker, he never touched a weight room in his life. I think it was Herschel Walker back in the day. He did pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, and he ran.
Yeah.
Never touched a weight, supposedly. But, I mean, the excuses just are ridiculous for people.
Well, because TikTok's not going to tell you, hey, did you get your cardio in today? As they're sitting there scrolling away. I'm guilty of TikTok, too. I scroll for hours sometimes. And I think that's just the constant feeding of what am I trying to say here? I think that the constant feed of social media and the instant gratification is on such a level that, like, it's taking away the genuine hardworking atmosphere of this nation.
Well, another thing too I disagree with, and, you know, I'm getting so sick of hearing about it, and I'm going to bring it up because, you know, we're gym rats, you know what I mean, and I'm getting so sick of that stupid toxic masculinity shit. Like, that's really eating at me. Like,
yeah, I will be masculine as far as I can be thrown, and I just had a talk with someone the other day, and we talked about specifically that, and just if I could say this word, pussification of mankind. And I again, not to go political or anything, but, like, I really do believe that is the main objective of the government powers, is to make the men weak so the government can overpower the nation. And that is what's happening. And I remember growing up and hearing, because of being homeschooled, you know, I wasn't out in the public world or nothing like that. I remember hearing other kids that I was friends with, and they said that, like, oh, well, you know, we had a soccer game and all the kids got awards. And I'm like, what? Even as a young kid, I'm like, this is going to be a problem for people. I'm like, bro, you know how many times I play my kids in a game and I make them lose? I'll play ping pong, and my son still has yet to beat me. And I told him, I said, when you beat me, I'm going to buy you a nice brand new paddle, because it's going to be deserved, and I don't care. Like, kids need to lose.
Because they're not teaching any morals of trying to push yourself to that next level.
Yep.
To want to, like, my coach told me in hockey, and I'll never forget this because I use it in life all the time. He would say in hockey in high school, he's like, right before the games, he goes, I don't care if that's 3-0 after the first period. There's 3 periods in hockey, as people know.
Yeah.
Until the game's over, it's 0-0 in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
0-0, 0-0. And he didn't care. Like, you know, call it unsportsmanlike. You shove it down their throat. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. And I believe in competition. I believe in, you know, I believe it makes you want to be, like, when there was people out there, I knew, like, when I started playing in more organized leagues, and I'm like, oh, we're playing that team, okay, that hot shots on that team, like, I would want to outplay him. Yeah. I would want to do anything I could to outplay him. Like, I mean, look at Ray Lewis. I mean, he didn't hit Tom. He hit Tom Brady harder than anybody. That he'd get hungry like before the games. He'd be like, "I'm gonna kill Tom Brady," like, on the field, obviously.
But see, like that passion is what a lot of people need. My coach just told me tonight when I had to do 500 for 6 singles. Dude, that's 3,000 pounds I moved in like 15 minutes, and it's tough. And every time I stepped up to the bar, my coach told me, he's like, Jeremy Lee with Inherent Strength. He's the one that coaches me right now, and he told me, he's like, you grab that bar and you think to yourself, because I'm going for a 700-pound pull. And he's like, you think every time, doesn't matter how much weight is on that bar, you mentally tell yourself there's 700 pounds on this bar. Like you mentally check yourself in saying, I'm going to get this weight. I'm going to do this. And I think that passion is lost with a lot of people because they just want the easy way out and they just want to give up on their life. And that's not how winners are made. That's not how champions are made. You need that loss. You need that crushing weight over you as you fail your squat, as you fail your deadlift, so you can learn from your mistakes and you can stepping up with Stuch, and be a better person.
And it's just like, with that whole toxic masculinity thing, like you said, like you're going to be as masculine as you can as a man and stuff like that. Trust me, I am all for, like you should, like there should be no man, nobody should consider themselves a man if they disrespect a woman.
Oh, absolutely.
And not to be sexist, I mean, I know there's men on men relationships, women on women relationships. That's their business.
Yeah.
I don't disagree if people are gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever they are. Whatever you do behind your closed doors is your business.
Right.
I respect them for that. When it starts becoming a public thing and you start wanting to be entitled to more, that I think that's where the whole country's gone wrong. Is everybody should just be with the equality. Everybody should be equal. Nobody's deserved more than the next. Yeah, some people, some cultures did have it a little harder than others in history if you go back, but let's move forward already.
Yeah. Well, you look at it, let's throw the gym, for instance, right? So I'm going to go to a powerlifting meet, and I'm obviously going to, no offense, but I'm gonna move more weight than you because just the way that I'm programmed in my lifestyles right now. But like this equality can't come into play there because I'm not going to lower my standards to make you feel better about the weight that you can move. And this is something I say in the gym all the time. Weight is relative. So like your heavy weight is your heavy weight. My heavy weight is my heavy weight. And don't ever feel intimidated or put down by someone that could bench 500 some pounds and you're still stuck at 135. Yo, that 135 is 500 pounds to you. Because you're struggling with it. You're working at it. Everybody has to start somewhere and move and progress forward. And I think that, the whole equality thing comes into that play because we are all different. We all do different things. And that's some of the unique things about being a coach or a trainer or whatever it may be, is trying to find how each person is different. Everybody is different. Whether they think, whether they act, the way they move, their body mechanics, the way their metabolism works. Everybody is so diverse and so unique. That's what's awesome about this world. That's what's so cool. Yeah. And actually, that's one of the things that I love doing is finding out like how someone is able to be taught something.
Well, that's what gets me, like when people they make up excuses like, oh, I'm not successful like that person over there because that person over there's parents pay for them to go to college and all this stuff. Like that's all horseshit, man. Like there is Cinderella stories out there that people are going to have better success than you because of where they grew up, who they grew up with, who their parents are. But you know what? Like, if you want their life, go out and get it.
Oh, absolutely.
Go, if you can work a day job, go do college at night. Like, now's the time. Like, that's why I'm so enthused and it intrigues me to, like, want to go back to school. I want to go back to school and get my MBA. And it's like, I can be doing that online. You can get a full degree. You can get a doctorate. You can get a doctorate sitting in your house.
Yep.
So instead of watching like these same people that want to say, "Oh, yeah, I can't work a full-time job and I can't go to college." Bullshit. You go home, you feed your face, you sit there, you watch the news, you watch Netflix.
You fat potato.
Yeah, and you sit there and do nothing with yourself for 8 hours, like the rest of your night when you could be like, what's it going to stop you on your 2 days off to dedicate 2 hours per day? Like you have 2 days off in the week normally.
Right.
You can't dedicate 2-3 hours on your day off to want to get to that higher level.
Sure.
Get out of that job that you hate.
Yeah.
You can't apply yourself because you know what, like. People just don't want to go out and earn it no more. They don't want to make sacrifices. Right. Oh, yeah. They don't want to cut themselves short. Like, they'd rather that instant gratification.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what makes the world go round, because you're going to have people like that, and you're going to have the winner mentality people that go out there and chase it, and they're going to chase their dreams, they're going to achieve their dreams, and you're going to have the people that are sitting back hating on them, saying, "Well, I never got it handed to me, and I never got it." Yo, bro, that's not what it is. Either you got it or you don't. You know how many times? No excuses, bro. You know how many times I've been through like a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts, like drive-through or whatever, and the person at the window is complaining about their job. And how many times have I've opened my mouth there and I said, "Yo, then leave this job, because obviously it's not for you. Go out there and live your best life, bro. Like your life is for the taking. You're not supposed to be owned by some company that's out there." But I think that's where I'll say this on top of that, though, because I think that's where the nation has kind of changed in a way to where like the entitlement is necessary for a job, and this is why people are switching their jobs every 2 years, is because they realize that they're not becoming valuable to the company anymore, and the company is looking at them as just numbers. And as soon as they start feeling that, they up and leave the job. So they lose the pleasure of the job. I've been with Old Dominion 10 years. Does it suck sometimes? Yeah, but it's a job. And is it good most of the times? Yes, hands down. I love my job. I love what I do. I love running the supplement business and all that, and I want to treat my employees the same way like their family, and that they can progress forward in their life, and that they can feel like they can come to me whether they're having family issues or work issues. Like, I want that openness with all my people.
And that's just what it is, because you're promoting them to reach a level of happiness that they're trying to achieve. And that's just it with me. Like, when I have a friend who I know is down and out and he's struggling and stuff like that, giving them advice, and I'm not God, I'm not a psychologist. All I can do is give advice what made me find my own happiness. I could just help you, walk you through it. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a certified anything.
Sure. Right.
I'm just coming on here and talking about real shit. That's all I do. And you know, like, some people can watch it. Some people can say I'm an idiot. Some people can say I'm a horse's ass. Whatever they want to say, I don't care, because the opinions people have of me are none of my business. I learned a long time ago, stop caring what other people think about you. Because I don't care what other people think about me. I don't care about their opinions, because at the end of the night, if they're looking up at their ceiling and thinking what they can say nasty about me, I'm on their mind.
You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Listen, every person has haters. Even Michael Jordan has haters. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's it's just,
well, the people that don't have haters are the ones looking up.
Amen. I mean, they're the people that are just miserable with life, and they just, I truly, like, that's what somebody was saying to me one day. They're like, what about, if somebody, somebody's hating on you, somebody's this. I said, you want to know what I do? They go, what? Because I had some kid contact me a while back. He's a local kid, and he's bashing me on Instagram. He's inboxing me, saying all this nasty stuff. You start talking about my fiance, start talking about me, calling me a pussy, all this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I used to get riled up about that stuff, and if that was me 10 years ago, I'd be like, "Where do you want to meet?"
Yeah,
but now, like let's do this. But now it's like I'm like, the one guy asked me, he's like, well, "What do you do when people are confrontational?" So like, I go, "Want to know what I do? I pray for them."
Yeah,
because they're spiritually sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Their mindset is completely warped with how it should be.
They're like, "You pray for somebody that hates you that much?" I go, "No, they don't hate me. They hate themselves, and they hate that I've reached happiness, and they're struggling with it. When all they'd have to do is ask, and I'd be more than willing to help them."
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's the way to be.
And I mean, my like you go back to Dunkin' Donuts. I remember at a time when I was working 3 jobs. I couldn't afford to go to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning because it would take away from paying a bill or something like that. As sick as it sounds, the $3 that it makes, it all adds up at the end of the week.
Well, I'm still there. I hardly ever eat out. Like, I'm having a single income home and having my wife stay at home, homeschool my kids. I have 4 kids. It's tight, Well,
that's where I'm at. Like, I dedicated and I made a promise that her mom could be a stay-at-home mom, and that's why I worked 3 jobs, because I would never take away my word. Right. My word is everything to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I deteriorated my word when I was an addict, and my word meant shit for a long time.
Yeah.
And, it took a long time for me to reestablish who the real person that I am. But I put in a lot of hard work to get where I'm at today, to live on a single-family home like yourself. It comes with sacrifice. It's not easy.
Absolutely.
And I see somebody...
It still isn't easy. Just because we're sitting where we're at now, we may have a car, or we may have a house, or we may have, a guitar or something like that. Like, it doesn't matter. That the fact is that it's not slowing us down. It's progressing us forward to keep chasing to be better. And keep going and chasing after those dreams. And dude, I'm telling you, I'm not 100% financially free, but, being on top of your finances is key. Like, going to college is not all what it used to be. And I'll say that right now, like the way that the economy is going, the way that the job world is going right now, like I understand like there's a time and a place that you need like college. I don't have a college degree that's like for the workforce. I have a bachelor's degree in Bible theology. That has nothing to do with my work. I have a CDL. I went to school for that. That's essential. That's needed. But like you can go into a company, and if you have the motivation, you have the drive, you can go and be the manager of that facility by working your way up through the company, and people don't see that these days.
These like some of the trucking companies, you can make 6 figures, no problem.
Oh yeah,
you can
smoke it.
Plumbers, electricians. There's these people that get in the linesman union. They make 250,000 a year. I mean, that's what doctors make. Some of them, like a general practice doctor. I mean, like a trait takes you 6 months to learn. You can't be doing that on downtime, like for those people that want to accelerate themselves faster. Sure. Yeah. But nobody wants to get their hands dirty anymore. These kids all want to work remote jobs.
Right.
They don't want to leave their house. They want to work task jobs
because it's easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not going to make you mentally strong when, like, they want that freedom. Like, well, I'm not going to be owned by somebody else. Okay, well then, big shot, save up your money, go start your own business,
right?
And you can be your own boss.
Oh, they're going to cry about that too. They're not made to do it. That's what that comes down to.
I know so many business owners, as you do too, and I was in business for myself for a while, and people don't understand that, like, when you own a business, the last person that gets paid is you.
Okay, so I still don't pay myself with the company, my Flex Nutrition. All the money that comes into the shop gets turned around and put back into inventory to bring in new supplements, to bring in T-shirt lines, to bring in athletes. Like I had Guy Cicinino come in a couple times to my shop. That costs money to bring him in, and it is what it is. And I think that going on 2 years, I've yet to write myself a check from the business. Because that's not what it is. I want to keep growing the business and keep making it grow. And they say 5 years it takes to grow a business. Well, I'm working my way to my 5-year goal, my 5-year plan. And hopefully sometimes it'll be a secondary source of income for me, for my family, hopefully, one day.
Yeah, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, I always like to, like the old-fashioned, it cost $1 at CVS is a notepad and a note. I get ideas in my head all the time. And, like, my fiance calls it the pipe dream book. And I'll write ideas down that good. I have. And I say, they're not pipe dreams. There's short-term and there's long-term goals.
Yep.
These are goals that I want by the time I get older to accomplish. Doesn't mean I'm going to accomplish them overnight.
Right.
Like, I want to get into property management. I want to start buying some rental properties. I want to buy a couple tractor trailers. I want to start my own tractor trailer line. Like, there's a lot of goals I want, but it's going to take time.
Yep.
It's going to take savings. It's going to take, it's going to be something that takes time and patience. Like, when we rewind that, quick results never get you anywhere fast or permanent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that even goes for lifting. Like, you see these guys that take a cycle of juice, they blow the fuck up. Excuse my language, but they blow up. And they stop lifting after their cycle, and they turn to shit.
Yeah.
And quick results never get you anywhere fast.
No, they don't. The slow progressions, I think that's even why, like doing, like, juice in the past versus the TRT that I'm on now, like the progression and growth being on TRT is so much better and cleaner and long lasting than taking a cycle of juice for like that last 8 weeks or so, 12 weeks. And it just, I feel better. I'm lighter on my feet. I have way more muscle density and maturity, and I'm definitely way stronger than when I was even on juice.
Well, that goes back to the internal health. Like, you want to be able to feel like you want to be able to be flexible. You want to be able to wake up in the morning, not be out of breath tying your shoes.
I still am. Let's not go wrong here. I climbed up a flight of stairs, and coming up the stairs coming into here, I was like, oh man, I just did legs though too. So I guess that's what the problem is. But I still wrestle with my kids. I'm still going to show them up. I'm still going to be the dad. I'm going to still be the authority figure in my home. And it's if that means I got to push them around a little bit to like make sure that they know who's boss, then that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you got to teach, like, to the parents out there that are listening, like, teach your kids old morals, like, old family morals. I mean, old traditions. Like, it's cool to, like, be non-traditional now.
The traditional is like you said, traditional is like the non-traditional now. And I am hardcore old school parenting. Like I was raised hardcore, and I want when there's no counting when I tell my kids to do something. Like the biggest pet peeve in my life is when a parent tells their kid, "Oh, Go clean your room. And he's playing on his video game. I'm going to give you the count of 3. 1, 2. No, bro. Like, you disobeyed. You did not get off your butt, and you did not go start cleaning your room. That deserved correction. Yeah. Get rid of the Xbox for a week and make them respond. Your kids need to respond in a moment's notice. And I yell at them all the time because in a moment's notice, that kid's going to run out into a street, and if you can't count to 3 before they get run over by a car, can you? That car's coming. They need to hear your voice and respond. Period. That's the way it is for life. And when I'm walking with my kids and I say stop, they stop. And if they don't, I'm yelling at them.
I like the old phrase. One of my favorite shows is The Sopranos, and I don't know the exact years. So like some people that are like fact checkers, they're gonna be like, "You're off by a year or 2," but the gist of it is like he's yelling at his daughter and like talking about how he's like old school and stuff like that, and he's like. In here, it's 1967. Out there, it's 2008.
Yeah. No, I'm all about it. Like I want immediate response with my kids. Like that, I tell them to do something, they better do it. And I don't want to hear their eyeballs rolling around in their head. I'll correct them for that. Like I want to say yes. You can ask my kids all the time. They want to say yes, Dad. I tell them to do something. Yes, Dad. That's what it is. They don't get to talk back to me. I'm the parent. And I think that is what's lacking in this nation.
Well, kids get a lot of options now.
Yeah, no options. Like, my daughter came to me the one day. Now she's 12, and she said, "Well, Dad, it's my body. Shouldn't I choose what I should wear?" I'm like, "No, I'm your dad. I'm telling you what to wear, and as long as you're under my house, you're gonna do what I say. Period. End of discussion." And she rolled her eyes. I'm like, "Excuse me? You say something?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Yes, Dad." And she walked away. And I was like, that's how it is. And I think that goes back to what we were saying about like the masculinity and all that kind of stuff is like, we are parents. Kids respond to authority. Period. I'm not going to have an argument with anybody because it's the facts. And you could fact check that all day long you want. I tell you what, we do a vacation Bible school at our church. And we probably have, I want to say up towards 300 kids per night come through our church on VBS. It's a massive VBS. It's really, really cool. And I can get 20 kids to respond to me because of being authoritative with the kids. Not being mean, because you have to connect with the kids on a kid level too.
Fair and firm.
Fair and firm, absolutely. And they all stiffen up. They all, "Yes, sir, yes, Dad," whatever they want to say, just to be fun and exciting about it. And they respond to authority. I don't understand why these parents are just letting their kids run all over them.
This chaos that's going on in like Chicago and New York City. Like some of these kids that are running around, they're smashing windows, they're rioting and all that.
Yeah.
Let them take a punch in the face off
Absolutely.
somebody. Like
Absolutely.
Like, and I'm not saying that you should beat the shit out of your kids or anything like that. So like,
Right.
I don't want anybody to twist that around and think that I'm condoning taking your kid downstairs and beating them with a belt.
No, never
because
violence.
I'm not.
Never violence.
It's like. You take these kids out of the inner cities, send them to a boot camp setting. These people that want to smash windows, disrespect cops, all this other shit, and you know what? Send them out to a boot camp setting. Push them to their limits. See, build some. This is the big thing that everybody lacks. Build some structure in their life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
None of them have structure. They can do what they want, when they want, how they want.
Yeah.
And there's no consequences to action. I was just in Walmart.
That's the key right there. There's no consequences to actions.
Well, this is I'll just tell you a quick story, and like this happened last week, and I was livid. And if it wasn't for my coping skills and learning how to calm myself down and stuff, there was a lot of. I had to call Dan and calm me down on the way home.
Yeah.
My daughter, she needed some stuff. We went to Walmart. She's only 8 years old, and we're at Walmart. And shame on me for taking my daughter to Walmart on a Friday night at 8:30 at night.
Who knows what you're gonna run into there?
we're getting stuff, and this kid, he's about 20 years old, probably 140 pounds, soaking wet. He's with his girlfriend, and he's talking about dildos and sex toys.
Man.
And he sees me. It's only me, him, his girlfriend, and my daughter, and he makes eye contact with me. And I give him a look, and I'm like, whatever you want to talk about, that's your business.
Yeah.
I got an 8-year-old here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
have a little respect. Yeah, have a little respect. Like, maybe you didn't grow up with a dad. Maybe you never got smacked across the face before. And the kid did it again. He stopped this conversation. He did it again. And then he did it a third time. I count to 3. I took a deep breath and I walked away because then I started premeditating as I'm walking out of the aisle. I'm like, I wanted to just say, hey, buddy, come on. Like, just keep it plain and blunt. I wasn't going to threaten him or nothing like that. But then I'm thinking, he's already pissed me off to the point where I already just wanted to throw him through the aisle.
Right.
If I tell him, come on, buddy, and he tells me go F myself or something.
Oh, you're going to lose your mind.
I'm going to lose it. All my things I work for. Now, then I start playing the tape over as I'm going to check out. I'm thinking, and this is how I think. Like, I overanalyze a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I'm thinking, if he told me go F myself, I threw him through the thing. Now, my daughter's got to sit here at 8 years old and wait to get picked up because I just left in a police car because I beat the shit out of this kid and got aggravated assault, simple assault, whatever, all over some scumbag who wasn't taught no family morals.
I just had a conversation with someone about that. It's not worth the fight.
But but a person like that is going to continue to act like that because there's no consequences.
Oh, sure.
Because if I said something to him, he can challenge me, and it's not going to end well. But I'm going to be the one that loses at the end of the day. He's not going to gain. He's going to gain more than I will out of the thing. Right. People can recover if you
slap them around.
Yeah.
Let's say it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just straight blatant disrespect. I mean, you're talking about sex toys and stuff, and I got an 8-year-old little girl in my car, and the best thing that I could have done was walk away. And I talked to Dan on the way home. I told him the whole scenario because he had a daughter and stuff, and he's like, "Did the right thing, man." Yeah. I was like, as much as I didn't think I did. Today I do. I know that that was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Because I shouldn't have put her through that. I would have put her through a very poor memory. I would have put. God only knows how bad it could have got. And it was just a bad scenario. But that's what we're living in these days.
Oh, sure.
Like when we were growing up, we wouldn't be. I mean, we were goofs, but not like that. Yeah. Like that's just looking for stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they press for a reaction out of people.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Yeah. To turn around.
And then if you beat the shit out of them. Toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny. My parents raised me right, and I think that I know I was kind of skinnier all through my life or whatever, but I think the biggest thing that I kind of take away is I've never gotten into a fight in my life, like ever. I've defended myself. When I was doing security one time, a guy tried to take me out, but I defended myself. I had him up on the wall by his throat, but that's besides the thing. And that was the only time I really got physical in a physical altercation with somebody, and I kind of pride myself in that. Then I think that comes down to the strong mentality that you can have, and I think working out and lifting weights gives you that strong mentality. Not only is it exercising the body, but it's also you are telling your body what to do. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's one thing that I learned about being on a program with lifting is like going into the gym, and whether you like it or not, that weight has to move. And that strengthens your mind to be a better and stronger person. And
it teaches you to keep showing up, too. You know what I mean? Like when you get dedicated and stuff.
Sure.
But, Tom, I want to thank you for coming out today. And, any last, you want to give any advice to any kids looking to get into lifting or anything? Any inspirational stuff?
I think what I learned from a lot of people is watch YouTube videos. Gather all the free information that you want out there and ask questions. Don't ever be shy to ask questions to anybody. Don't ever be shy to ask for help. And there are a lot of people, a lot of these big guys that are out there. They love to help people. They don't be scared to go talk to them. Don't have excuses. Find your why in your life. Push forward and fulfill your dreams. Don't let anybody hold you down.
Well, Tom, appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. I think we talked about a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And, if you were offended, tough shit. I mean, that's just it. I mean, this is what Stepping Up's going to be all about. Either it is what it is. I'm just going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to be more of my real self. I'm going to be humble, but I'm also going to keep it real too.
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep it real, and that's it. I'm just going to be me, and if you don't like it, I mean. Don't watch it.
No, thanks again for this opportunity. I'm really excited to see how you blow up the podcast market with Stepping Up with Stuch. I really appreciate it. I like the line when you told me it. I was like, yo, that's a fire line.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where this is going to be heading. And thanks for allowing me to be
I'm sure it won't be a stranger. I mean, we're gonna have your clip in here where you introduced. When you were official sponsor with the Sober Sit Down for the local guests, they want to come in. And that's. Hopefully, if anybody locally following, go down and see Tom for supplements. He's in Plains, Pennsylvania, in the Danko's building.
Don't need to be a member of Danko's to visit my shop.
And Tom's going to get a website up and running in the near future, and we'll be sure to start promoting his link once that takes effect. In the meantime, I'm going to post Tom's in the description below. We're going to put Tom's Instagram. You can follow. He puts a lot of his lifts up. You've seen some of the demonstrational videos we had in the beginning of the show, and some of the clips. And he does a lot of motivational stuff. And don't be afraid to reach out and give him a message on Instagram or
I'm an open book
or on
all
Facebook, and he's ready to roll all the time. So, but thanks once again, Tom.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the opportunity.